Hey, this is Rush from Optic Gaming, and you're listening to The Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of The Center Ring, aka your favorite esports podcast. This is episode 219, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, March 8th, 2020. The time, 8:54 p.m. That's right, not even being on Juked can keep us on time. Let that be a lesson, all you schedule makers out there. Nothing keeps TCR on time. We'll get to that in a second. It's been one hell of a day into the new time. Might be one of the worst days of the year. But before I get into that, make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. And just because daylight savings time is the worst time of the year doesn't mean that this isn't going to be the best episode ever. We got some e-news to get to towards the end. It is Monday, so we have Yikes of the Week. Is coronavirus going to be the end of esports? We'll answer the question here. We're the only ones brave enough to fight the coronavirus. And also, our good friends over at Philly Esports joins the show, talk about their upcoming charity event. So Adam from Philly Esports will join us later for our pre-recorded interview there. So that's always a fun time there as well. But again, follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring, our website, tcr.gg. It's got all of our Discord links, everything there. Be a part of that conversation. We'd love to have you. Hello, my name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports, and alongside me, as always, my best friend, my brown friend, it's Anuj. What's up, buddy?
It's like I just saw you, man.
It's
like I just saw you all day. I'm doing good, man. Excited for the show today.
It's been a busy Sunday.
It has.
I forgot that it was daylight saving time, so I forgot that we lost an hour, which is never good, because I'm like, I go to bed at like 1:30 thinking, all right, it's 1:30. Should probably get some sleep. Not knowing that in reality, it's like 2:30, which you wouldn't think 1 hour makes a difference. But once you cross over that 2 a.m. threshold, I feel like that's when you start.
And at our age, we wake up on an internal clock, right? Like I don't sleep in anymore. So I'm still waking up then absurdly early at that point, and it just starts off the whole day a little rough. Also,
like first time dealing with daylight saving time with child. Like the kid doesn't care. He's not like, hey, we lost an hour. I'm gonna sleep one extra hour. It's a Sunday. No big deal. No big deal. Not a work day.
Sleep in, mom. Sleep in, dad.
Yeah. No, they're not like that. They're like, no, I'm waking up, and you're like, oh. So I've been dealing with that. It might be one of the worst days. I would say daylight savings time, right? Losing an hour sucks. The Monday after the Super Bowl, that's got to be one of the worst. Maybe Good Friday, because you feel like that should be a work holiday, but it's not.
Yeah, not having that as a work holiday sucks. Like, because really nothing coming up for a while here.
Yeah, like every other holiday out there on the Christian calendar seems to be a day off, but Good Friday, we're like Easter, you get nothing. It's like, we already gave you Jesus' birthday. What more do you want? It's like, okay, I suppose. Maybe his second birthday. I would like that Monday off.
It would be nice.
That's all I need. That's all I need. But alas, we're not taking any days off, unlike esports, because it seems like the more and more this coronavirus goes on, seems like it's just killing off events left and right. So let's just get into, before we get into Yikes of the Week, we got to update people on our tournament, on our results, our performance. So, we mentioned last episode, I believe it was, that we were going to be in the Mount Phenom tournament, which is, it was open. Anyone could join. It wasn't like royalty or anything, right? But nonetheless, it was a tournament.
You had to pay to play, though.
Yeah, you had to pay to play. So it was a legit tournament. And so we teamed up with some listeners and performed. Listen, the expectations were low going in. Morale was at an all-time low because we were playing. I mean, first off, we're not a team. right? Me and Anuj play once a week, maybe.
Our only practice with the 5 of us came the night before the event for about 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it went well. We were feeling good. We didn't lose the game all night in MM, which is, I mean, feel like a win in itself for us, right?
Yeah.
So we were feeling good going into the tournament, but also knowing that everybody else here is like really knows their shit, right? Like they know their strats.
Yeah. I mean, we're playing in lower gold Nova matches, I think, at this point, high silvers, and no one's
Can I
really.
tell you when I realized we were in trouble, Tim? When they showed the face it levels.
Well, yeah.
When everyone was a 10, and then you had our team as a 5 or 4 or 5 just sitting right there. Quite noticeable.
Now, I will say, though, maybe this would have made a difference. Maybe we would have been in the finals had this not been the case. But we have the worst luck when it comes to these type of tournaments. Have you noticed that? Like, between the tournaments that we play at DreamHack, the BYOC events, and like things like this, it constantly seems like we get first rounded against the team that will eventually make the finals and even win it. Like the team we played in this one lost in the finals. Like
they were good. I mean, they were really good. They smacked us pretty hard. We got a couple of rounds on both maps, but it was not a pretty or fun situation. We knew early on.
I always enjoy. I mean, I would like to make an official announcement here on the Center Ring that I am going to retire from tournament play in Counter-Strike. Because at the end, I don't enjoy it. I really don't.
We end up stopping playing for a while after it, is what usually happens.
Well, yeah, because it's
just to take a break.
If it was like a skill-based tournament, like if I was playing against people against my, like
at your level,
like I enjoy hockey, right? I'm not going to go play against some minor league team, though. Like, that will be fun for 5 minutes.
If that.
Because, again, these guys aren't just taking it easy. There's money on the line. So they're playing like we are of equal level. And it's like, dude, you could have pistoled us and won. Like, chill out. Like, they called a pause at one point. It was like, you guys could be doing this 5-on-3. Like, you don't need to wait for someone.
Their executes were on point the whole game. They could molly us out of any spot. It was really a tough situation, but we had fun. I'm glad we got to do it with some listeners, and still a good moment. It's not every day you get to play against people at that caliber, right? Like it's very, very rare for us to play against somebody that good. So that's always.
I'm not against playing against people better than me, but that much better. It's like, okay. I'm not learning anything by this. Like,
let's put it this way: we didn't need it to be a BO3. That could have been a best of one, and I would have been happy
done
with
it in like
result.
8 rounds. You could have gotten the idea in 8 rounds, but I would like to do one where it's more skill based. I don't know, just give me a.
They have them on Faceit and stuff where you can like choose your tournaments. We can always like pick one where it's ranking wise, everyone's a little bit more similar.
Yeah, we should try that then, because, like I said, after a while, you're like, okay, I get it. I suck at this game. Thank you. And
he's out of retirement, boys. Now, just like that.
The best thing, though, is like, I know. Here's the thing, though. At least I know I suck at the game, right? These guys are try-harding with a coach on some online qualifier tournament like they're like Fnatic over here, right? Like,
I mean, granted, if they win it all, though, you do get 10 grand. That's not chump change. Like 10 grand for a tournament win. And then if you win the qualifiers, you get an extra 1,000 here and there, so you could come out with like 12, 13,000.
I mean, not that much.
When you're TCR, it's hard
not
to
that much.
Think of money.
It's hard for me to care about that much. Like that little bit of money in a tournament, I'm not gonna try for that.
Yeah.
So you know what? If you want to go and do your little tournament, then fine. If you want to embarrass yourself winning a tournament like that, so be it. I'll let you take the W. All right, let's get into some yikes of the week, though. Because we did have quite a bit, and that's while having an emergency yikes of the week on Thursday's episode.
A 3-part emergency yikes of the week on Thursday.
Yeah. So it's been kind of just a crazy last few weeks, really, for esports. And thankfully, not a whole lot of it involving the play, right? I guess you'd rather have it over uncontrollable things like the coronavirus, which, we kind of joked about and we still do on the show, but I guess it's like a real thing.
Yeah, Tim. I mean, it's been one event after another, and they've been dropping fast. I mean, now you kind of know if you have an event coming up, really in the next 60 days or so, get your trip protection, maybe cancel it already if you haven't, because I mean, now we're getting hit with what we have Overwatch League announcing that the Washington homestand is canceled. Apex just announced that
Well,
our Dallas
I mean, it went on because it was this weekend, but
oh yeah, but they were one of the few that actually, that's right. They're one of the few that went off. But we have the Apex Legends Dallas that just got canceled for us over here. And that one's pretty unfortunate because obviously we haven't been doing an Apex event before. Esports Arena always does a good job of putting on a
Rocket
show
League
over
canceled the finals that were going to be here in Dallas, which that one sucks because I was really looking forward to going to that one.
You think we'll lose? What is it going to be? LCS in Frisco?
So that one, we have to, because if every other event in the Metroplex is canceling, Riot has already canceled the live event for what's the Europe one? LEC?
Yeah, LEC.
The LEC. They've already canceled the live event and moved that into studio play. So I don't see any way that the one here in Frisco makes it. I don't see any possible way. The event that I'm really bugging out for, of course, is our baby, DreamHack Dallas. Now that's still a while away. It's towards the end of May, Memorial Day weekend. But I will go into depression if they cancel that.
The League of Legends, the LEC is like scheduled for end of April, and that's the farthest one out that I can think of because Flashpoint also got canceled for Counter-Strike. Flashpoint had their inaugural playoffs set to take off in April. That would have been in Stockholm, and now they're bringing that online, or the Los Angeles studio possibly for them also now. So I mean, it's really, I'm surprised we had Call of Duty go off this weekend. And that's kind of, we're seeing these LA events kind of, continue on here. We had PAX was canceled as well.
Was it really?
Was it PAX? No, it was TwitchCon Amsterdam.
Okay.
I think just got canceled. So it's really just kind of it's not going to slow down. I mean, the way it's going, you're seeing events outside of esports for those of you in the Texas area. It's kind of big nationally now. South by Southwest.
That's huge. That blew my mind. That's where I was like, oh, this is legit. Like,
yeah,
canceling a little esports event here and there, it's like, okay, that makes whatever, right? But canceling South by Southwest, like Anuj said, for those people, you guys who don't know, that is huge for the city of Austin. That is a 2-week long event with music, and then they have like a tech festival and all that, arts, and I mean,
it's a citywide event. It's not like where all of these other events are kind of affecting one set location. South by Southwest affects literally the city and almost every shop owner in this city.
I was going to say a lot of bars and...
think of the food vendors that are out there, all the bars that have the different, there's different music at almost 100 different bars in Austin. So that was a pretty big one to also get shut down.
And that was one of the things that made me... Because, like, I know on our Discord, I was like, man, I hope they don't cancel DreamHack Dallas. And someone was like, oh, they're not going to... They might adjust it, but they're not going to cancel the whole thing. There's no way they can. There's so much that goes involved, and there's just no way they can do that. And I'm like, oh, like, what news are you watching that I'm not? They're canceling South by Southwest. They're canceling what was Katowice the night before, a day before. Yeah. They told everyone, by the way... You can't go inside. Like virtually no notice, this has been canceled. Like, yeah, they'll have to cancel if it comes down to it. Now, the question is, who's it going to be up to? Is it going to be up to DreamHack to cancel, or are they waiting for the city of Dallas to be like, yeah, we're not doing this?
I mean, I feel like once we're about 60 days out, we'll have a pretty good idea if this is still like a hot topic. And I say a hot topic, but you know what I mean? It's like still actively being spread. They don't feel like it's contained. We're seeing more events continue to be canceled. I'm pretty sure at that point we're going to be going to our backup plan, which is a LAN at my house. I mean, like that. That's what I'm anticipating at this point.
Yeah.
Is all of us to be just cooped up into this room somehow. But it would be unfortunate. But the way it's going, it's not surprising. Like I really do think we're kind of just the Olympics. The Olympics are this year also, and those are already in question. And that's, trust me, if it's not big enough for the Olympics, it's gonna take everything else out with it. So
So how far do you think this goes then? Because if they're talking about the Olympics, of course we have World for League of Legends, which is no, is that Shanghai? It's somewhere over there, right? Am I thinking the TIs? And there's something in Shanghai, some MOBA event.
Anything that's going on in Shanghai is canceled. That's like ground zero. There's no way they're gonna have an event.
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. That's why it's just crazy how much it's affecting like these esports events, and really for the year, because a lot of these are like either qualifying events or tournaments for a league and stuff like that. Like, I mean, still look at Overwatch, right? A lot of these Chinese teams still haven't even played. They haven't even done anything because, of course, their early schedules were based out of China and Chinese home events. And now, the league still hasn't really mentioned how they're going to approach it and adjust. I mean, obviously they will. They'll have to. But
why aren't they playing online? Why don't they just play them online for those games?
I don't know.
Like to catch them up. They're going to be, aren't they like falling kind of far behind in terms of how their season?
Look, I don't understand. I mean, I understand they don't have the Blizzard studio anymore in LA, but I think, and maybe this is going on behind the scenes, but I think at some point someone's got to step up and like let these guys. Now there might be an issue with them flying over.
Well, I think that's a huge issue,
right? Do you think it's like the government's like, yeah, you can't fly here? But even then, you're telling me there's not like some place in Korea, like an esports studio in Korea, where it's like, hey, just get this done. And maybe you can't stream it, right? Which, yeah, that would suck, but you guys are almost falling an entire stage behind at this point.
I mean, think of ESL. So ESL obviously just got hit by Katowice, as we mentioned. Aren't they doing the Rio Major also?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not that far away either. That's coming up at the same weekend as our DreamHack event. And so we're looking at about 90 days out from that right now. And that's got to be a huge concern. You kind of just can't predict when it's going to stop, unfortunately.
Right.
And so a lot of these TOs are probably having to go on as if business as usual, right? Looking 60, 90 days out and until you get hit with a notice from the city. And so I know everyone wants to do the right thing, but it's you got to be affecting these guys financially. It's got to be pretty tough right now. I mean, think of what ESL missed out on. They had in Katowice, it wasn't just the event. They had a whole expo set up there where they said they had like 50 to 60 booths set up, similar to what you would see at a huge DreamHack event to go along with one of the biggest Counter-Strike events. So hopefully we see it's slowing down at some point soon, but it really doesn't seem like it. Like I said, I mean, this week alone, just looking through our notes section, it was like, man, E-News is canceled. It was like, okay, let's just talk about this in Yikes, because it's definitely worthy of it.
Yeah, everything's being affected by it right now. And one event that I honestly had to look up to see if it was affected by it was the CDL event being held in LA, because I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of it this weekend, Anuj. Yesterday, though, the crowd looked empty, which brings me to my yikes of the week. Is these crowds at the CDL events have been looking quite spare.
Especially day one. Day one has been really bad. I mean, we've seen it at I think Chicago will be an interesting one to see it at, but so far we have seen it at every event where day one, the timings are just not that suitable. I mean, what was it for the Dallas-Chicago matchup? Week one, like they were having to wait. They delayed the matches almost like an hour and a half.
Like we have Chris in chat real quick. I want to ask Chris, because I believe Chris, you were at the LA event over the weekend. Was Saturday, was it bumping? Like, were people there? Because on stream, it looked like nobody. And it's like LA was playing, Optic was playing, and yet
they were playing the Gorillas. There's 2 LA teams playing.
Yeah, it's just no one is in that crowd. And, I guess it's like maybe they're afraid of the coronavirus. I don't think our genre of people, right, are the esports gaming. Like, I'll tell you what, if they don't cancel DreamHack, it's not like we're going to be the adults here and be like, well, hey, guys, let's not go because we could get sick. Like, no, we're going. Like, it doesn't matter.
I'm going to wear my mask. I'm going to get out there and I'm going to play some games.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. It's weird. And yeah, it's like you said, it's always day one. Like, yeah, day 2 for Championship Sunday, you'll get people showing up and everything. But it's like, I think if I was CDL, I'd be a little worried to be like, maybe we start doing these show matches on Saturday instead of Sunday. Maybe that will get people showing up. Or
do you think the format is good for the way that they're doing this? More of these weekly tournaments, more the traditional Call of Duty style, where originally the plan was to go more of an Overwatch season, right? So to have your matchups in one home city, but it was more for a bigger picture, right? It wasn't set on this one tournament setup that you're seeing each week. Do you feel like that was a good way to go for them to continue on this path, or do you feel like they should have changed it up and maybe that would have made it more interesting? I have a take on it. I just want to see your.
Yeah, and I know. So just to follow what Chris said, the crowd was pretty staggered, but they helped set up the event, and the coronavirus was obviously a big discussion there. So, and understandably so. As far as your point though, Anuj, to their CDL schedule, I don't hate it. I like the idea that it's easier to follow, right? People are familiar with it. My issue though is, like, you are already only walking into these weekends with 6 or 8 teams playing, and God forbid the popular one gets knocked out early, right? Because then those crowds are just, we've seen it. Call of Duty is notorious for it. They don't stick around for teams that they're not interested in, right? It's not like a CSGO major where you're like, well, hey guys, you know what? It's the finals, so let's just get hyped for who's playing. They're like, no way. Chicago's out, I'm out, right? Like, almost out of like respect, it's almost like they hate Dallas so much they would rather leave than watch them.
Than stay and watch. Yeah, I do think the way they're doing it is the right way to do it. I feel like if it was just your home team playing, let's say like day 1, day 2, people would kind of stagger in and out even more just for those particular games.
And that's not a knock on esports, because let's be real, like, if football did events like this,
like 3 or 4 games in
one
venue.
day, and you had a chance to go to all of them, well, which one are you going to go out and eat during, and which one are you going to come back to watch? You're going to come back to watch your home team, your favorite team, and then you might stick around later, throughout the...
They're asking you to stay a long time. For sure.
Yeah.
Like, these events are not short, especially like today, it's like the matches were still going on up until recently, which just came to an end in the middle of the show. And so, it's like, I think the way they're doing it is right. Locations will be important. I think we'll see Chicago be a stacked crowd, and this conversation will be completely different. I think Chicago will be sold out completely. I think it is sold out, if I'm not mistaken. Pete's actually mentioning it in chat that it is, but their VIP and their open section are both sold out. So venue by venue, we'll see. You can see the Optic brand did take a hit, obviously. Otherwise, this event, if this was a traditional Optic event, this would have been stacked to the brim. You would have had no open seats. And I think we see that in Chicago. So part of it is location. Although, people want to claim Los Angeles is the mecca of esports. Well, gonna have to prove that right by selling out a really small. This is a small venue. It's not even like this is some huge venue, and not be able to pack it up. So
and I just think, like how even Chris said it and you said it, everyone says it with esports events. The days are just too long, right? Yeah. And I don't know what the right answer is, because you can't have what they had before, right? Where, like, how they were going to do their original travel schedule, But then you also, like, this is awkward, like we were saying, because if a good team gets bounced, or say you're a huge Chicago fan and they're not going to the LA one, right? They're not going to the LA homestand. So then what do Chicago fans do, right? Do you pay that much money to go and watch it just because you're a fan of Call of Duty? Probably not. So, and do you sit there for 11 plus hours to sit through it?
Yeah, I mean, the only other option I think that could potentially work is you do a tournament with every team there and make it like shrink it down. So right now, obviously, you have these best of 5 series. You shrink it down to best of 3 series early on, and maybe that does take a big shift and change the way the COD community has to watch it. But in order to make these events more appealing, you do have the Chicago's there every time. You do have the Dallases. You do have the FaZe at these events, and shrink some of these BO5s to BO3s and hey, maybe that's it.
Yeah, and see, I wouldn't hate that, right? Because I would like to see every team at every event and things like, the players would bitch about the traveling, which
well, maybe they bitch about the fact that what if it's FaZe in Chicago?
I'm over the people complaining about traveling in esports. Can I say that? Can I say that without having like rocks thrown at my head?
Yeah, because it's also like it's seasonal, right? So if you have to travel a lot during the season, well, I mean, it's the same thing. Kind of look at an NBA team,
I was gonna
82
say,
games.
They play back-to-back nights, and no knock on esports athletes, but you don't run. You're not getting hit. You're not getting bullied away. And I think if hockey players can play and travel and do that for a season's worth of games, I'm pretty sure esports guys can handle it.
Granted, salaries being very different, but still, it's at this point, it's part of the profession.
But the thing is they always just bitch about the travel because of jet lag and being tired. They don't bitch about I don't get paid enough to travel, right?
Yeah.
Now maybe that's what they're thinking, but so I don't know. But again, that I don't think any of that affects
international travel really for like NBA and stuff like that. Though at least it's all domestic, but these guys are traveling like once every like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm
back-to-back games.
I'm still a little curious though on just why the day ones have been so meh for the Call of Duty. I'm kind of curious to see coming up here in a couple of weeks with Dallas, if it happens, right? If they don't cancel the Dallas event, what type of turnout that is, because the Dallas Fuel events are buzzing all weekend long. Like they should turn out for every
prime for this one. I think this will be busy. I think this will be a packed house.
Toyota Music Factory. It's a gorgeous venue. Perfect for concerts, but I think it's going to be perfect for esports. It's going to be so comfortable there.
Pretty centralized for Dallas, Fort Worth, Frisco, like in terms of all 3 locations having to get there too.
We appreciate it living in Fort Worth.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, I'm just going to go straight from the office to there. I can walk there from where I work. So it is that is coming up. We'll see if we get a chance to go to it. We'll see how busy and packed it is. I think Dallas will represent well. Dallas to me is an amazing sports town and will fill up any venue. I mean, I really do believe that. We've seen it with, you go to the Smash tournament that we went to at Esports Arena. That place didn't have an empty seat in it. People were standing in the back, and that's a pretty large size arena for I feel like a Smash venue. So I think it'll be packed in Dallas, but we'll definitely see in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and Overwatch League home events are like they do seem to do a lot better because like the Houston homestand that was bumping for Overwatch. I don't know if it's just we've talked about it.
Washington Justice won this weekend.
Yeah, Washington Justice was really nice.
Dallas ones are great. I mean, we've never. I mean, the ones that we've been to, both the ones we've been to, have been completely packed.
It was cool to see. What was her name? Katie, right? The Call of Duty stage host. She was back in Washington, so that was cool to see her working on stage again. But working on stage makes her sound like a stripper, but you get my point. Good to see that old broad on stage again doing her thing. Oh, we jest. But yeah, I don't know. Probably because Overwatch League fans are just like golden retrievers. They're just so happy-go-lucky.
I mean, they love their game.
Yeah, Overwatch fans are just...
Look, they need to support it the way that they do.
Bedford, Katie
Because
Bedford.
if you're gonna keep this going on, and proving people wrong, you do need to keep filling up the stadiums for Overwatch. They have to have fan attendance. Can you imagine what the talk would be like if they weren't filling up stadiums? Can you imagine what the talk would be like if their stadiums looked like Call of Duties do? At the moment, you walk in and you see 50% empty seats, plus all the stuff that they're having to deal with. Like, it's a good thing that their fans show up the way that they do, because that's one thing that you're not on.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's why don't we throw it over to our interview here real quick. We'll play this for you guys, and then we will get into some e-news afterwards. So here is Adam Nelson. He is from Philly Esports. We'll do the introduction in the interview for you. So here it is. Oh, actually, though, before I do that, let me tell you about Thrive, because Thrive is your daily fantasy sports prop betting app, and you can get a free $10 on your first $10 deposit if you use the code TCR. It's just that simple. And then you can use that, make some smart bets, turn it around. Next thing you know, you're a millionaire. Or at least I'm pretty sure that's how betting works. But definitely bet responsibly there. So here is Adam from Philly Esports, and hope you enjoy. All right, let's introduce our next guest to the Center Ring Esports podcast. He's a friend of the show. He's also paid to be on the show, so that doesn't hurt his chances of being an interview guest on the show. But he is definitely practicing what we preach, what he preaches, and keeping the grassroots alive for esports, especially in the Philadelphia area. Welcome to the Center Ring, everyone. Adam Nelson.
Glad to be here, guys. Super excited.
What is up, buddy? So for those who don't know, in our Discord, Adam is also known as Ace Nelson. Yep. So a lot of our listeners probably have seen your name around. Also, the company that you started with Philly Esports, you sponsored a dozen of our shows or something like that in the past when we went up to Philly. Talked about you giving us the hookup. So we definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on the show to kind of pimp out what you guys have going on with Philly Esports.
Awesome. So stoked to be here, guys. I'm really excited.
So,
and just to remind people what Tim was talking about,
right.
Mr. Nelson here, okay, and I have to call him Mr. Nelson after that weekend. He got us into the executive owners box at the championship event for Overwatch. So we were at the Overwatch League Championship. Tim and I were standing like lonely plebs with our media passes down in a herding area where they had put us all. And if we wanted to go sit up top, remember that was an obstructed view at the time, Tim, when we were originally where we were like sitting, and we're like, oh no, like this is how this event's going to go down for us. Few moments later, the savior comes out and is like, hey guys, y'all are interested, I don't know, I mean, if you're free, not busy right now, would you like to come into the owner's box where they have free food, important people, and the best seats in the house? And so still very much appreciated for that. That
more
was
importantly,
an awesome,
for a
experience.
private bathroom.
I needed that day. That was a rough day. But if you're gonna shit, why not do it in the millionaire's owner box? So I'll take it.
You get to say something a lot of people can't, right? But yeah, for real, Adam, I think it's great. So for those who don't know, we've talked about it on the show before, but Philly Esports, I guess, what are you? Because I don't want to sell you guys short. I say grassroots program. Is that?
I mean, you're not wrong. So what we do is we run monthly tournaments throughout the Philadelphia area, usually at college campuses, because that's where a lot of the people that want to play games are usually located. And we just run events with cash prizes like any regular tournament. But what we really try to focus on is the player experience. So at every event, we have professional photographers and we do professional interviews. So if you check out our YouTube channel, you can look us up, and we have hundreds of interviews of all these different players that play all these different games. And what we're really trying to do is give these players an opportunity to start building a portfolio, start really showing the legitimacy behind what they want to do, whether it's become a professional player, go to college, or maybe become a shoutcaster. We have a lot of guys that come and shoutcast some of the games. So I think that's kind of like our secret sauce, is that we really focus in on that, where maybe some other TOs don't go out of their way to make that experience happen. But we really care about the player experience and trying to replicate that Overwatch Grand Finals feel as much as we can.
I was looking at y'all's Twitter page as you host these events. Y'all share a lot of the pictures there on Instagram as well. And you really do a good job of like capturing the event. And I feel like that is a part that goes unnoticed a lot of the time by a lot of people, especially at, we've been to several LAN events, been to several local events here in Dallas, and they feel like a grassroots event when you're there, right? Like you really can tell that, hey, we're on a budget, we're just trying to make it work, and we're trying to get by. Looking at your events, following them, even as they're live and you're able to watch them. But you're right, with the shoutcasting, the people there taking professional photos, the way you do the trophy presentations, like there's a true sense of accomplishment that I'm sure that the players and the audience feels at these events. So that's awesome.
Absolutely, yeah, and we learn every single time we do an event. We've done, I think, about 13 in-person events and 2 online events, and we learn every single time. We realize what we poll the players. What do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to see? And we do everything in our power. We just recently made a partnership with an LED panel company, so they're going to bring these really cool video walls to put at the event just to add a little bit extra quality to the event, and we're really excited to roll that out at our next event, just to make it more exciting and almost feel like you're at a really big major, which is hopefully where we're going to be able to get to these events one day.
So then, with it being like you said, kind of local, it's always local in Philly, correct?
Right. Yep.
All right. Have you gotten like the reception that, even though like you are quote unquote you're grassroots
Sure.
and everything like that,
Absolutely.
but the players that are attending, I mean, can you kind of see like they're taking it serious, kind of as a stepping stone to the bigger events?
Absolutely. So what really surprised me was even from day one, there were semi-pro players in the area coming out to play. So if you go and look at our history of events, we've done mostly Super Smash Brothers events and Rocket League. And every single time we do an event, even though our prize pools are always $500, the next event we get a semi-pro. Then the next event we get an actual professional. And it's I think what that's telling us is there's a need for these events, even for people at the top tier, because they want to come out, they want to play. But what's really exciting is obviously we're giving the opportunities for the grassroots players, the people that haven't really gotten a chance to play in tournaments, or really haven't got a chance to get their name out there. I think in the esports realm today, the only way that people kind of pursue to get their name out there is maybe Twitch or maybe some other formats. They don't really go to local tournaments, but there's not a lot of local tournaments going on in the first place. So what's been really exciting is to see not only the amateur players that really want to make a name for themselves, but also the experienced semi-pro to pro players that come out and recognizing the value of these in-person events. And that's really exciting.
And you're obviously
getting most requested.
All right, go ahead.
What is the most requested thing? You said you ask players for their feedback.
Oh yeah.
Good and bad. What is the most requested thing you do see from them?
Absolutely. So I think it's just the structure of the tournament, right? So there's so many different ways you could run a tournament, whether it's double elimination or Swiss bracket or pool play. And I think it really depends on the game and the size of the attendance that really dictates that. And that's just one of the things we've learned. A lot of players want opportunities to hop on the mic and just shoutcast the game because they love being there. They love being in the environment. But I think overall, the majority of the feedback that we've gotten is just ways to make the experience overall better. So to give you an example, we just did an event at Arcadia University that has an amazing esports facility with 40 high-end gaming PCs, and we had 37 teams show up. So we could only put so many teams on the computers, and a lot of people had to wait. Well, we didn't really have anything set up to let those other people do besides watch the stream in another room while they're waiting. So for the next time, if we do another event there, which we absolutely will, we want to find some sort of activity to kind of keep the momentum going. So while the teams are waiting to play, still having fun, they're still connecting, and they're not just sitting there waiting. So that's the kind of feedback we've got and just ways to improve. And we love that feedback because we want to make these events better and welcoming for everybody. Not just only for the players, but for the parents, for the siblings and spouses. So
how much support would you say that you get from the bigger TOs or even like the city, right? Because, I mean, do they view you guys as not serious? Do they view, like, how is that? Because we have always see it from a player perspective, right? And depending on the scene, the pros really don't acknowledge the semis or even just the guys who show up to grassroots tournaments. Is it like that with TOs, or do you see that they're pretty openly willing to work with you?
Yes, that's a really great question. So the first thing I want to answer is the city. So, based from my past experience, my other jobs, I have had contacts with people that work at the city, and they're very supportive. I haven't received any kind of official support, but I think it's just because I'm not big enough, and there's just bigger things they're worried about right now. And esports is so new, a lot of people don't really know how to react to it yet, which is why we're doing this next event. the charity event. But with other TOs, they've been very positive. There's so many TOs in the area, both large and small. One of the biggest here in Philadelphia is Nerd Street Gamers, and they're well known because they have local hosts here, and they have a Denver location, and they just announced a big arena they're opening up in California, and they've been super supportive. They've been hoping to do an event with us someday, and we definitely will. But they've been definitely supportive with retweeting and giving us support and driving people our way. So we've definitely seen a lot of support. But it's a hard road in esports. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and our core focus right now is just to build the best community possible and give as many people the opportunity to make a name for themselves and come and play in our tournaments and pursue their dreams. And that's the most important thing.
What is the biggest challenge you guys face?
Oh yeah, money. Yeah. Definitely money for sure. Because you always want to do
that from a prize pool side, or are you talking about just being able to pump money into the events to be able to do more at these events?
So both. I mean, obviously you always want to give out more money, but the problem is the more money you give out, the higher caliber people or higher caliber players that will come, and then you have to figure out, well, how do I make this fair for the amateur players that definitely are not going to win this event, and then you have 5 or 6 semi-pro players. So the prize pool is kind of a weird thing because you want to keep it balanced, but you also have to figure out strategies to make it fair for everybody. So I definitely want to give out more money for sure. We want to give out more money, make the prize pool bigger, get more attendance, absolutely. But it's definitely more about making the experience better. So for instance, the photographers, my volunteers that come out, the people that are there doing the work, the money is really about giving back to them, because I've been so lucky with the amazing volunteer team that I've established here in Philly. I have over 40 volunteers on my staff right now, with a core group of about 6 that are always there. And I'm honored every day to work with them, because they're giving up their time to be there. And just the way our society is, there's not much I can give them besides hopefully a couple dollars in their pocket. And that's really what I'm hoping to do. And maybe, one day be able to give them the opportunity to work full time, which would be an amazing dream for me, to give people those opportunities to pursue their dreams in that way. So that's kind of where money, but obviously there's all the little logistical things and, all the housekeeping things you need to do. But I'm really excited. We're definitely going to get there. We have a lot of great things on the horizon. Just takes time, one step at a time,
And you mentioned that your next event coming up in a couple of weeks, Saturday, March 28th. And all your events are always one day, correct?
Yeah, they're always on a Saturday.
It's also a pretty sweet gig, right? Normally with esports, it's like you're dedicating a whole week if you have to go to an event. So that's
right.
Always nice for the one-day event as well. But Saturday, March 28th, you are doing Philly Esports Super Smash Brothers Ultimate for your charity event that is obviously partnered with Gamers Outreach.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So I'm so excited about this. Someone from Gamers Outreach reached out to me. It was like, "Hey, Adam, we've been seeing the work you've been doing. We really like it. We're trying to raise money all across the country, and we want to invite you to be one of the only TOs to fundraise for us and do an event in our name." And I said, absolutely, 100%. I learned all about them, and I was just completely honored to be asked to be a part of it, because we are small, and the fact that they saw the impact we're having locally and wanted us to be a part of that fundraising campaign was just made me feel amazing. So Gamers Outreach, for anyone who may not know, is a national nonprofit. They have 2 major initiatives. One is their Player 2 initiative, and the second one is their go-kart initiative. So their Player 2 initiative is they find volunteers all over the country to go to hospitals to play video games with kids that are in the hospital for long stays, so they have someone to play with. And then their go-kart initiative is that they build these mobile go-karts with Xboxes and PlayStations that are preloaded with all the games, everything you need. And that way the kids that are at the hospitals have something to do while they're there for long stays. And it's a really amazing thing they do. They're all over the country. And particularly they have go-karts here in hospitals in Philadelphia. And obviously CHOP is a well-known a children's hospital here in Philadelphia, and they have multiple units there. So, once I learned about all that, I was super excited. I wanted to get involved. And so for this event, what we're trying to do, we're trying to raise $7,500 for the charity. That's our goal. Right now, we've raised maybe about $100 with just random people throwing some money in. So people can donate now. But the one thing I want to stress, because I know that we have a national audience here, which is really great, is that we're going to be streaming the event live all day long, starting probably around 10 o'clock Eastern on Twitch TV. It's just Philly Esports, one word, on Twitch. And the donation link's going to be right there. And we'll be tracking the donations all day long. And we want to reach that 7,500 goal. If we reach that 7,500 goal, that guarantees that 2 go-karts will be able to be given to children's hospitals or just hospitals in general across the United States. And that's really, really exciting. And that's why we set that goal. And we are really confident that we're gonna reach it. So and we have a prize pool, and all the proceeds of the event goes to the charity. So if you're in the local area and you want to attend, your registration fee goes to the prize, or goes to the overall fundraiser, and all the money we bring in goes to the fundraiser. So we're incredibly excited and honored to work with Gamers Outreach for this event.
If you haven't seen one of those go-karts, guys, that Adam's talking about here, it's incredible. The way that they put this together, and they make it so kid-friendly, and it's like, they literally just roll them into their room and give them an opportunity to play all the games that are out and enjoy it just like any other kid would. And it's really, really fun to see, because I've watched a lot of their stuff on YouTube, and they show some of the, I say, like, the reveal type videos that they have where they actually are there taking it into the kids' room, and to see the smile that comes on some of these people's faces as soon as this thing rolls in, it's incredible. So we love what you're doing out there. We obviously love what Gamers Outreach has been able to provide to so many people just in need, right? It's such a small thing too, to think about what we're even providing, right? An opportunity to play a video game seems like such a day-to-day thing for us. So it's really, really fantastic. And I'm glad we're getting a chance to talk to you about it, because it is something we want people to go support. We know we'll be watching and tuning in, and just really excited to see what you're going to be able to provide to a lot of people over there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm really excited. And this is what really matters to me. Starting Philly Esports here in Philadelphia and doing these local events, giving these players an opportunity to make a name for themselves. That's what's been the dream for me, right? Obviously, starting a business, you want it to be successful, you want to make money, but I didn't go into this looking for profit. I went into this saying, how can I impact people's lives? Because I can't be a pro player. I'm 31 years old. I missed that boat, unfortunately. I wish I could, but I recognized that I had a skill set. I was really good at event planning. I was really good at speaking in front of crowds of people, and I knew I had the resources and opportunity to do something, and so that's why I started this company. And once Gamers Outreach reached out and said, hey, we want you involved in helping us raise some money, I was like, absolutely, because giving back to the community, that's what it's about. That's what esports is about. Like, just the positivity that's around gaming right now is it's palpable, it's just overwhelming, it's exciting, and that's what it needs to be. And I know that you guys talk about a lot of stuff in your show, and it's all amazing, but every once in a while there's a couple of negative things that creep in there. And what I'm hoping to do here locally, and hopefully one day across the country, is be a source of positive impact on people's lives, people's careers, and their dreams, whatever it might be in gaming. And so this is just another stepping stone in that journey. And I'm incredibly honored to be working with Gamers Outreach, and I'm really, really excited to meet that goal and donate that money to them so we can really impact kids' lives that are in hospitals.
So one of the easiest ways to find a link, obviously you check you guys out on any social media, is at Philly Esports, correct? Or correct. Philly Esports on whatever social media you're looking for. So I know you guys have posted the flyer out there. We'll tweet it out as well, and we'll definitely pimp it out throughout the weeks, and especially on event day. So it's Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Have you ever done Melee?
No, but we definitely want to very soon.
Yeah.
We're getting all the resources together.
Okay, remind me after I pimp this out, because now I want to just ask you, like, from a tournament perspective.
Yes.
So that is Saturday, March 28th. If you are in the Philly area, or if you really feel like traveling, that is at Eastern University.
Correct.
I'm assuming people over there know where that's at.
Yep.
And
St. David's, Pennsylvania.
There you go. Registration $15 per player. That is a flat fee. And of course, remember, most importantly, that's not going to the prize pool. That's going directly to the charity.
Correct.
So you can, really, it's like a selfish donation. You're donating 15, then you can compete, and then you can win some money from it.
Exactly.
So, why not? Why not do that if you're in the area? It's kind of easy. So check them out on Twitter at Philly Esports. You'll have the links and everything there for the donation. And again, we'll tweet it out. The goal, everyone, 7,500. That's 2 go-karts. Or not, what are they called? Go-karts, right?
Go-karts, yeah, that's correct.
Right? Okay. So there you go. We can make it happen. So let's do that for the kids. Think of the children. Think of the children. All right. So now to my actual question here then.
Sure.
So because you organize, local tournaments and everything, And like you said, the bigger ones are Rocket League and Smash Ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, because they're low maintenance to set up, right? You don't need like 5-6 computers like you would for a Counter-Strike or anything, right?
Yeah.
Easy to host in one ballroom, right? At a hotel or a college. So do you think if you did a Melee, do you think there are more like, because I assume for yours it's younger kids that go there, right?
So our median age for attendees is 23. So we get people as young as 9 and people as old as 40.
Okay.
Yep.
So is Melee dead?
No, absolutely not.
It's not at Evo.
I would imagine that if we do a Melee tournament, I'm pretty confident we're going to have more attendees than we do at our Ultimate tournaments.
Really?
Yeah. You have to understand, Smash in the northeastern area here in Philadelphia is rampant. I mean, it's the first event I ever did for Smash. I had over 100 competitors. And that was with zero marketing. So it's huge up here.
What's the average attendees do you have, like number wise?
For Smash, our average is about 85.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'd say that's a good turnout, right? For a local tournament, everything like that, like you said, because it's like the prize pool is 500, which is respectable. I would say, honestly, any prize pool that I don't think people understand. Like when we were growing up, if there was a local tournament for any amount of game, it was typically like a gift card to whatever store it was being held at.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
like
you played that like your life was on the line.
Yes.
Played those. I mean, even, we say 500 is a small amount. It's not, it's like for somebody that's 15, 18 years old, like $500, these are upgrades for your PC. This could be potentially going to your new PS5 that's coming out. That's I think for, again, when we attended these events as kids, there used to be a lot more local LAN centers. Unfortunately, we've seen that kind of fade off in our area. So that's why it's beautiful to see what you're doing out there. But we used to attend these events. And like Tim said, there was really nothing on the line, and you went for the pure competition. And so hopefully people get that sense of, when they're at your event, they're taking it seriously. They're competing hard, I'm sure. They want to win. You present them with the trophy. You get to go on stage. Like, there's plenty of reasons to win other than the prize pool. I think the fact that you even have one and it's a respectable number is fantastic. So we definitely wish you all the success, my friend, because we just want to see you do good things.
Absolutely.
How important do you think it is, Adam? Just this is my last question, but how important do you think it is for esports that there are companies like Philly Esports doing what you do?
That's a great question. So one of the things that I always say is I can't wait to see competition. And the reason why is because we know this. Gaming is so accessible. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, where you came from. Even if you have a major physical disability, there's controllers designed specifically for those folks to still be able to play and at the same caliber as professional players, at the same level. So gaming is incredibly accessible, and the opportunities within the esports and gaming realm are just unlimited. Whether you want to become a player, whether you want to start your own business, whether you want to get involved in multimedia or broadcasting or graphic design or any of that stuff, the opportunities are endless, and your love can pour into that work, which I think is incredibly exciting. So seeing more organizations kind of follow the model we've laid out all over the United States would be so exciting, because it's giving people opportunities to pursue their dreams, a dream that was never a reality until now. I mean, you guys talk about it all the time. I mean, I remember I played in a Halo 2 tournament here in Philadelphia when I was 14, and just like you're saying, Anuj, it was like everything. And when I didn't, I got like third, and I was miserable because it was like my whole life was about winning and playing that game. And seeing me provide that same opportunity for people now, it just brings me back to that moment. And I'm saying this is why I do it, because it just makes me so happy that these people are here, they're having fun, and they're doing something they absolutely love. They're obsessed with it in a positive way. And so I think that's what these events really mean. And I think we have an opportunity now to change the narrative, to positively impact people's lives in a good way, and really set up for success. So or they want to do something else, these events can build a family for them. It can build a community for them. And just look at all the volunteers we've been able to organically grow here at Philly Esports. They're all amazing individuals. And it's not me going out and handpicking them. They've come to me and say, hey, I want to help. And I think it's not me doing that. It's just the environment. It's the video games. It's the love and passion for esports. And so that's what I think we can really do. And I hope to see more of that at the higher levels, that positive influence, as well as the lowest levels. And at Philly Esports, like, we started in Philly and this is our home, but this isn't, we have our horizons are out there, and we're going to go after them. We have big things ahead, and we're excited to hopefully do this in more places than just Philly. So that's it. That's all I got.
Well,
bring it to Dallas next.
I was about to say, if you ever make it to
right.
Dallas, two guys that can help pimp it out for sure. Speaking of pimping out, again, just a reminder to all our listeners out there, Saturday, March 28th, 9:10-ish Eastern in the morning, tune in to Philly Esports on Twitch. Follow them on Twitter at Philly Esports, or Instagram, or you got TikTok? We TikTok
we
it.
TikTok. We haven't posted much. There's a couple videos on there. I got a couple of you guys.
All right.
So
You're cooler than us then, because we don't have TikTok. We made a business decision not to venture into TikTok.
gotcha.
We feel like it was just hurting our numbers. The more we seem to branch out on social media, the more we see a decline in listenership. So yeah, we're gonna keep it simple with Insta and Twitter.
It's the easiest way. So Philly Esports on all social media. Go ahead and follow them so that way you know when it goes live. Again, though, if you can't make it on the 28th, you can still donate now.
Yes.
So find that link on your Twitter. We'll tweet it out as well. It's to benefit Gamers Outreach. The goal is $7,500. That is 2 go-karts for kids in need. Like we said, gaming, we all game. So why limit that to where if only you're healthy at home or in quarantine with the coronavirus? Kids in hospital need gaming too. So make it happen for them. We can that's an easy goal. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, as we say here on TCR. So make that happen again at Philly Esports. Adam, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for getting us in the owner's box. And I enjoyed the free food. Anuj enjoyed the private bathroom.
I did. And I'm practicing what I'm preaching right now, gentlemen, okay? I am making my donation right now.
Nice.
To Philly Esports.
Thank you.
I'm going to contribute. We can't just pitch it out there. We all have to be a part of it to make a difference. So
I will make my donation live on the stream because I also like the attention.
Nice.
So I'm going to make it live so that way I can get a live shout out because that's just how I roll.
There you go.
And guys, before we close out here, I just want to say 2 things. One, just another plug for us. If anybody wants to get involved in esports and wants to volunteer, there's tons of opportunities. Just reach out to us on social. Let me know what you want to do, and we'd love to have you help. Even if you're not in Philly, there's tons of work that needs to be done outside of the event. So please don't hesitate to reach out. But 2, I want to show some love to you guys. You guys are the best esports podcast in the entire world. The amount of work and effort you guys put in every single show shows. And I only wish you guys success, and I'm always going to support you guys, and thank you for what you do. You guys put a lot of work in, and it does not go unnoticed by me, and I'm sure the rest of the community feels it as well. So thank you for all the work you do, and I'm going to be here every step of the way with you guys. So
I appreciate you, brother. I can't wait to see you again.
Yes, sir.
All right, and there you have it. Thank you again to Adam from Philly Esports for coming on the show. Talk a little bit about their organizations, but of course, more importantly, the charity event. And again, can't stress it enough, guys, that everyone I think at this point has heard of Gamers Outreach, right? A lot of Twitch streamers, it's like kind of the go-to charity, that and like Extra Life and things like that. But very good cause. So if you can donate, I'm not going to make you feel bad. I'm not going to say you're a lesser of a person. I'm not saying you're going to go to hell if you don't donate. But I'm also saying you're not going to have all that happen to you. So, go check them out, though, at Philly Esports. And if you can't donate, of course, just tuning into the stream is just as valuable as a donation when it comes to Twitch and how their algorithm works. And, take it from us that Adam is a really good dude. He, is one of the few honest guys in the industry who, he is the grassroots, right? He is what kind of how esports started, and he's making it happen. So definitely go support him, if not for the children, but for us.
100%, man. Couldn't agree more.
All right, so let's get into some e-news, shall we? What's going on here? So with CS:GO, quite a bit have happened here.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a correction from last week. We had mentioned Haji was most likely going to be the replacement for Alex on Vitality. It ended up being, oh man, I can't even pronounce the name. I jotted it down too. We'll say Masuda. Anyways, he is joining on the team. Apex is going to be taking the place as captain for the org. We will see how this works out. I still think this is a tremendous loss. It's going to be very tough to replace Alex and what he brought to that team. We finally saw that team kind of starting to click under Alex's leadership, and obviously because some struggles here as of late, but overall they had been performing as one of the best teams in Counter-Strike, and I do think that's going to take a big hit, and we'll see what this does for him and how he steps in. More importantly, Tim, we want to talk about roster changes. Hunden was released from Mad Lions, and it was due to internal issues, so
aren't they all?
Yeah, but this one is like pretty mind-blowing because the team was built around Hunden. He's really the only player that most people were at least, aware of the name and who he was, and for them to release him going into the major qualifier, it must have been really bad. It had to have been really bad for you to release somebody in that situation. They thought they had a replacement lined up. I think it was Asilian, if I'm not mistaken, is who they thought they had lined up to take his place because he's on the bench for one of the Nordic teams. That didn't end up happening, Tim. They lost their spot for the qualifier because they could not field a suitable team. So rather than work out their issues with Hunden, and at least just go and play and not hurt everybody on the team, they decided to release him and couldn't field a roster. So Complexity has now stepped in for Mad Lions in the Euro qualifiers.
And this is for the major, correct?
This is for the major,
and
yeah.
This was for the one
minor...
that Complexity got bounced right after having the amazing performance at Blast. So
yep.
It's just crazy how that situation has turned out for them.
And it, really worked out. Obviously, Complexity's favor. They went in. They had to play Sprout. They won their first matchup. They ended up advancing, so they are now going to be playing in the final qualifier for EU.
So you went from being embarrassingly bounced to now advancing.
It didn't I know there was a lot of hate going on, but this is still good for CS overall, right? It's not good that Mad Lions couldn't play, but if a team like Mad Lions is out, Complexity is such a brand name organization. It's not the worst thing to have them in there. People are excited about that roster. We're excited about that roster. So I'm not upset that they were the team that got selected. I'm upset that Mad Lions made it the situation that they did, but not for Complexity for accepting an invite for a slot that was available, because they still had to go in there. They still had to play. They were able to advance. They won both their matches along with Dignitas.
Yeah, I'll never get upset at a team for qualifying. Who cares how you got into the qualifier? You're there, right? Yeah, you were eliminated before, but
you still have to go win. It's not like they gave them the slot in the major. So they had to prove themselves this weekend. They did. Another team that did, Tim, was Dignitas, our old ex-NIP roster. I might be finding a new team. These guys looked really good. Now, unfortunately, they did lose to Fnatic over the weekend, which it seems like this roster can never beat the Fnatic roster, but Dignitas was able to play really well. The new pickup for them, I think it's, Halzerk, if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably butchering that. But he took, he stepped in and he had a 40 kill game, I think, in a double overtime match. Again, they looked really good overall. It was exciting to see, and this is a Dignitas team that, not saying they're going to turn the world upside down, Tim, but they could make some waves. They could definitely do some things, and so we have a pretty stacked EU qualifier coming up. On the big teams that did miss out, we did lose out on Heroic. OG, the highly touted team with Alexi B, Valde, NBK. These guys were knocked out along with Big.
So we'll look forward to how all that shakes up, and with the NA qualifiers, which I think are somewhat soon as well. So we'll keep an eye on all that.
The list for the America's minor has been set. Cloud9 advanced, Gen G, Furia, Bad News Bears, Boom, and Red. I don't know how to pronounce it. Red. Canids. That leaves like Mythic was knocked out. Envy was knocked out. But it was a little bit more set in stone with kind of who we had there. There weren't so many teams in flux in terms of who was going to advance and who wasn't.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, I guess that all wrapped up then. Orglis makes it into Flashpoint and to beat Chaos.
Steel's old team, so that's Steel from iBuyPower, and unfortunately they were knocked out. Orglis, this is a big opportunity for them because now they have just secured a spot in the first season into a league that, in order to own a spot, you have to buy your way in of upwards of 2 million. So for these guys, that's exciting. We talked about Wardell a handful of times, just over the past few weeks. He's obviously on this roster. Tim, another name we mentioned a handful of times, FNS, again on this roster. So these guys are going to get picked up by an org. And that kind of ties into E United dropping their org recently, so maybe there's some sort of tie there. I know TSM is also still on the lookout, but a handful of teams could jump in and grab this spot.
Yeah, I honestly forgot E United even had a CSGO team, so I guess that explains a lot of why they released their roster. So maybe they'll be picking up and getting into Flashpoint that way. Also, speaking of, Envy had announced to be the 7th member joining Flashpoint, so that's exciting. We had a pretty good idea. I mean, we talked to some guys over there. We talked to some of the players and got not exact information, but you got an idea, especially once ESL announced their final rosters. It was very evident that Envy was at least very interested in Flashpoint.
The way the money moves in Flashpoint and the ownership coming from the teams makes a huge difference. And with the way Envy has run their business and seems to be, the way they're approaching esports, it very much makes sense to me, right? You see Cloud9 kind of doing that same sort of thing here, but yeah, it's not surprising that they joined Flashpoint. I think it's great. Like, again, this is at least a big name in Flashpoint. They need a handful more of them, so I don't think this is a bad one to have as part of the group. I think it just bolstered the roster. We're still about to see an Envy team that's incredibly young with a lot of young talent. So it'll be nice to see what they can do in that league. And that'll be a good competitive challenge for that roster, right? Like, it would have been tough probably walking into ESL Pro League and seeing how the team stacks up against them. I think here they have a legitimate chance to be one of the best teams.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it on a later episode, but I think Flashpoint is still shaking up. I know, the better teams, as far as world rankings go, ESL definitely got, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for a league. Kind of like how, to reference it back to our tournament experience, not necessarily bad to have everyone being the same level, even if that level might be slightly lower competition. Like, there's still, I would rather see that because that's going to make a good dramatic season for them.
And these teams can also, let's not forget, these teams have the potential to improve, right? Like MIBR, I know they haven't been good for a while, but you think that they're at least going to continuously try to improve. Same thing with Cloud9. Like, you feel like they're going to try to get better. And then Envy is proving that with each move that they make, that they're continuously trying to improve their roster, whether that's going international or not. So it's good for the overall league for Flashpoint. They're at least getting some big household names in the esports scene.
And so it's finally happened in League of Legends. Cloud9 has been defeated. They ended up dropping their first game of the season to TSM earlier in the weekend. So still very impressive run, though. Still, I mean, what was it? 12-0, I think. I think they made it to 13-0, if I'm not mistaken. So,
you know what, Tim? They wanted to get that loss out of their way. They wanted to just get it out of the way now before they head into the playoffs and make that fantastic run and get NA that first title.
In CDL, Ferocity plays in place of Pristini for the Mutineers this weekend in LA, citing personal reasons. And Pristini even tweeted out saying for the first time in a long time, he feels like he needs a break. So maybe after an emotional, where was the last one at? Atlanta? Where he played his brother? Was that the last event? So maybe he just needed some time off. Who knows? But hopefully everything's all right there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we will talk about this for Thursday's episode because it ended up finishing while we were recording. So we obviously want to rewatch and actually have a good conversation about this. But the Dallas Empire have their first event victory, right? They get to take home, even though I don't think they had a trophy at this one, but they get to say that they were the champions in LA for now, as they ended up defeating Minnesota 3-2 in the finals. Again, though, we'll talk about that and the whole LA homestand in greater details next episode on Thursday. So there's that for you. And that also does it for this episode of The Center Ring. Episode 219. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. For everyone in chat, Philly Esports, thank you again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. For our listeners, again, that's March 28th. Hit them up at Philly Esports on Twitter and donate if you can. If not, at least be watching them on Twitch, because that will definitely be just as valuable. Chris, thank you for being in the chat, giving us all your information on the LA CDL homestand. So that's much appreciated.
I love the live look in.
Live from the field. That's how we do it. Follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring if you're not already. And if you are, get one of your friends to follow. That's how that works. And we get that follow train or whatever it is going on. We'll be back, though, Thursday night for the live stream for Wednesday night for Thursday's episode. So you can always watch it live on Twitch if you're interested. But again, that's all in our Discord and on Twitter at The Center Ring. I'm Tim. For Anuj, we'll see ya.